Hello everybody, this is Spriggan Web What Ifs, and you probably wonder where I've been. So, I've had to be, I've had to deal with getting back into school since I last uploaded. But now since I've gone back into, going to school, and I've had a little break from YouTube, as well as I've been sick whenever I've tried to start a new video. This is what if Deku awakened his sharingan and found venom. So, this story begins with Izuku at the ripe old age of 4, where he didn't, as in canon, didn't get a quirk. And the Uchiha bloodline comes from Hisashi's side. So, we skip. When Izuku went to get his quirk analyzed, read, he fell asleep on the way home, and Inko stopped at a grocery at a gas station to refuel a car and get Izuku a snack. What Inko didn't realize was that Izuku wasn't actually properly safe. Well, she didn't lock the car, so Izuku got taken. As he wakes up in a warehouse where he's he's blindfolded, so he has a bag over his head, and he doesn't really hear anything since he's kind of in a locked room. So around a week goes by, as they have been feeding him and giving him drinks, so he has survived until a black liquid, Izuku doesn't see this, but it attaches onto him. And let's go to Venom's POV. So he is looking for a host. So he's in the sewer. He smells someone that might be a good host. So he finds his way to Izuku and latches onto him. As he skims through Izuku's memories and thinks what Izuku's going through right now, and decides to knock Izuku out and break free, as well as then going outside the room and killing all the villains out of there. And he then takes Izuku to a police station, where he is then found and taken back to Inko. After this whole entire situation, Inko has become way more protective of Izuku, so she's enrolled him in a private school. And she has this money because, she has a well-paying job, and she's on the way to becoming the CEO of that job. Let's skip to when Izuku is around 13, and UA is going to be a college in this. So, Izuku blanks out a little bit, but it's usually not frequent. So, Venom usually takes control at night. Izuku has no idea that Venom's there. So, and at this point, Venom has realized that there's a whole hero and villain situation, and since he's going through Izuku's memories, he knows that Izuku wants to be a hero, so he decides to, kill any, person that's doing bad. So he's usually just in, an actual, Venom suit that looks like this. Yeah. And so let's go to when Izuku is at, middle school. This would be around the time where well, I'm just gonna make the sludge villain incident happen sooner. So around this time. So this would be the like year right before the end of their school year. So when Izuku's trying to take the shortcut back home, well, actually no, it would be at middle school, like private high school. Yeah, he's taking a shortcut home, as he then gets attacked by the sludge villain. But instead of what usually happens, Venom reveals himself to Izuku and eats the sludge villain. As he recoils back into Izuku, as Izuku has no idea what just happened, as All Might shows up, asking Izuku if he has seen a sludge villain. As Izuku being like a little out of it, doesn't really think All Might as in like All Might, and thinks since he's kind of like out of it at the moment, so all he says is no, and All Might just sleeps away. As Izuku goes back home and contemplate what he saw, as then Venom shows himself, as he pops out of Izuku's shoulder, saying,
"Hello, Izuku. I am Venom. Or should I say, we are Venom."
As Izuku starts freaking out, and yeah, so as Venom just tells him to calm down, as around 5 minutes goes by, as Izuku has calmed down by now, and Venom says, "Do you have any questions for me?" Izuku just says, "What are you?" Is Venom replying back with, "I am an alien," or what she would call an alien. "My race is called the Clintar." He then continues asking a couple questions, as Izuku then he then goes to sleep after all that, as he then wakes up, goes to middle school, and then once he gets back home, he asks Venom what are his powers, as Venom gives him the whole layout about what he can do. And yes, Carnage is a thing. He is in Japan. And yeah. So, I'll continue. Izuku just asked Venom if he can train with his powers. As a week goes by of Izuku training with his powers, as at this point Izuku has gotten well adjusted to them, since he's still a hero nerd in this. Yeah. He on the way home from going to school, he runs into Bakugo, as they haven't seen each other in a while, and Bakugo just doesn't think of anything of Izuku, as it's Izuku that says, "Hi, Katsuki," as Bakugo turns around and says, "Deku?" As Izuku angrily replies back with, "That's not my name." As Katsuki then says, "Well, that is your name because you're useless." As then Izuku just punches Bakugo in his nose, as it breaks. As then Izuku just continues walking home. As when he gets home, he doesn't hear his mother, because at this point she would usually be home. He walks inside and he sees a videotape on the table, on the kitchen table, as he then puts it into whatever it be, or just think of it as like whatever you want it to be. You could plug it into it could be a USB, plugging it into a computer, let's just go with that. He then plugs it into his computer and sees a um video on there of this being Cletus Cassidy having Inko as a hostage. As Izuku smashes his hand against his table, breaking it. As Venom just pops out saying, "Calm down, Izuku, calm down." As Izuku is pissed as he's breathing heavily and tells Venom, "We are going to go find her now." As before Izuku leaves to go find her, he makes a call to the cops saying that his mother is missing. As he goes out in the Venom suit. As at this point, yeah, Venom has attached onto Spider-Man because Spider-Man is in this universe. And that also has been stated by Horikoshi, that there is a Spider-Man in the universe and Zero aspires to be like Spider-Man. As Izuku goes hunting, as he finds Cletus, as right as Cletus would, right as Cletus brings out Carnage. Carnage then summons like a swordish thing, as he tells Izuku to stand down. As Inko cannot talk because she has like a piece of duct tape over her mouth. As Izuku demorphs back into himself, and he then asks Cletus what he's going to do. As Cletus then says, "I'm going to torture your mother while you watch." As Izuku just stands there, and right as about Cletus was about to carve into Inko, Izuku awakens in Sharingan as his eyes start to bleed. At this point, it's the single tome of Sharingan, so it's quite weak, but Izuku just quickly transforms back into Venom as he sides, right as Cletus was about to slash down at him, he then blinks as he dashes as he's right behind Carnage as he punches his fist through his chest. As then as in the suit, he rips Carnage from Cletus. As as Venom takes control, he starts to consume Carnage. As he then gets all the abilities of Carnage, so the morphing weapons part. As he then frees his mother. As she asks, "What was that?" As Izuku says, "It's my quirk. I'm a late bloomer. I couldn't tell you because I didn't want you to worry." As Inko says, "It's starting to happen." As Izuku then asks, "What's happening?" As she then replies back with, "Oh, nothing." As Izuku's Sharingan transforms back into his regular eye. As a week goes by and Izuku continues to train with Venom. At this point, he has gotten all Carnage's abilities down, and Venom has had a slight red tint to him. So the emblem of the spider on his head throughout the center of it is a red streak. I keep on saying so. As Izuku keeps training until a year goes by. As at this point, it is the end of middle school, and Izuku puts his high school down as just some random one, as he then goes to that high school, and he still throughout high school he trains with Venom, and at this point he has awakened the second, well, actually no, the third Tomu of his Sharingan, as he has gotten better with his skills, and with this, he can, like with Kakashi and copying jutsus, he can copy quirks to an extent. But also, Venom has gotten the ability to, if he gets a small bit of someone's DNA, he can mimic that quirk and add it to Izuku's system. But if with Izuku's Sharingan, whenever he has a Sharingan activated, he can actually use the quirk, whatever one he sees at the moment, without actually Venom having to get their DNA. So, Venom has made a few contacts with a few heroes. And at this point, Venom and Deku have been recognized as a vigilante. Known as, well, since they've seen Venom before, considering he fought Spider-Man. But this would be like after like a event that turned Venom good, which would be actually leaving Eddie, which was corrupting Venom, and going to Izuku, which started to heal Venom's like personality, not making him as bloodthirsty. As yeah, so he then well, around like the second year of him in high school, Izuku asks Venom if there's a way for them to get stronger. As Venom says there might be a way, but we're going to need to find a few symbiotes to make us stronger. As they go after the hybrid symbiote. They then consume the hybrid symbiote, even though they've done, well, some good. As he then gets all hybrids abilities. So, Izuku asks Venom how is he going to get stronger, as Venom says, we are going to go fight, well, my god, Null. As Izuku and Venom tell Inko that they are going to go on a little field trip and that they won't be back for around 3 months. As with a lot of like begging on Izuku's part, he finally gets Inko to agree as he goes into space. As with Venom, he can breathe in space. As it took them a month to get there. As at this point, Venom has gotten a resistance to fire and no longer has that weakness to sound. So he now has no of the regular base weaknesses, because Izuku now has a fire and a sound quirk. The fire quirk being from Endeavor, and the sound quirk being from Present Mike. He also has Bakugo's quirk, as well as he tried to copy All Might, but Venom, it didn't work with Venom. He couldn't for some reason. Well, and we all know why. As yeah. So, Venom does still have like the Spidey sensibility, but it's now become weak. As once Izuku reaches Null, they fight it out, as it takes them a week to finish their fight, because they continuously regen throughout it. As the final blow for Null would be when Izuku punched straight through his head, as Izuku suddenly got an overwhelming boost of strength. As Izuku doesn't know where that boost of strength came from, but he managed to do it. As Izuku asks Venom, "How? So what now?" As Venom says, "Pick up his sword." As he picks up All Black, as he then Venom now then engrades it into his system, but Izuku can, even without Venom, can freely draw it, as it becomes one with Izuku's system, becoming one with his molecular structure. As he then goes back to Earth, it taking around half the time, as while he's there, when he gets back to Earth, he doesn't really tell his mum that he's there. He just becomes a full-fledged vigilante for that time. As during this time, he's taken down some, well, like cartel, some fragments of Overhaul's Yakuza, as well as some like almost major league villains. As he then comes across Stain, as Stain tries to paralyze Izuku by licking his blood, but it not affecting him. As Izuku pulls out All Black and cuts off his head. As he then feeds Stain's head to Venom. As Izuku asks Venom, why does he always need to eat the head of people? As Venom explains that there's a particular like membrane in the brain that sustains his hunger. As after the last week of the month goes by, Izuku is walking past the grocery store as he goes in and buys some chocolate. As Izuku eats it, and Venom says, "Are you eating brains, Izuku?" As Venom said that, Izuku spat up a little bit of the chocolate. As Izuku said, "What the hell are you talking about? I'm just eating some chocolate." As Venom then says, "Chocolate? Give me some." As Izuku breaks off a piece for him and gives it to Venom. As Venom says, "Delectable. I want more." As Izuku goes back in and buys a little bit more chocolate. As he feeds it to Venom, as he is then full. As it only took him like 3 chocolate bars for him to be full, when it would usually take around like 5 heads, like human heads, for him to be fully satiated. So Izuku and Venom made an agreement that Venom would only now be eating chocolate from now on instead of humans. As Venom, he dislikes this, but he agrees with it. As by the end of the 3 months, Izuku goes back to Inko, as she's glad to see him, and Izuku has gotten taller, as well as his hair has grown out, with him now being around, let's just say, 6'2", as he then continues on with his high school life until he gets to graduation, as he then goes to UA College. On the day of the entrance exam, Izuku nails the written part, and then we go on to the practical part, as Izuku finishes within 10 minutes, so he has a bit to prepare. So he is wearing a singlet and some pants. So as when the gates start slightly opening, Izuku dashes straight through it, breaking the door slightly. As he then when the robots try to attack him, Izuku just blinks. Blinks from each robot to robot until there is none. As in the commentator booth, Nezu was thinking, this boy, get the feel that we might know him. As Nezu summons 3 0 pointers. As Izuku, he doesn't have the Venom suit showing, but he then shows the Venom suit and summons All Black. As Izuku just jumps into the air, slashing All Black once, as it cuts off all 3 0 pointers' heads. With Izuku nailing the practical part, everybody being shocked that he's done this. As a week goes by and Izuku gets his letter for that he's been accepted. So that will be it for this part, and if you'd want me to continue this one, comment that down below, and bye.